Y'all, I just hit my 5-year anniversary working as an NP, and it's a little bit mind-boggling to me because it feels like just yesterday that I was sitting here like in this spiral of indecision about even going back to school. And it's been 5 flipping years and I just can't believe it. Right now, personally, I'm in a season of busyness. Like it's the May craze with my kids. There's all this stuff going on at school. I'm trying to build a digital course and I've got stuff all in, like just so busy. Like life is busy, right? We're all busy. But I thought 5 years is sort of it's a big deal. And I thought I should take this moment to just reflect on the things that I've learned, the things that I wasn't expecting to learn, the things that make me very happy, the things that make me very frustrated, and what I feel like at this point in my career, and would I change it and go back and do anything differently? If you're watching this video, you're probably interested in those kind of things because you're considering going back to school yourself. If we haven't met yet, my name is Bree. I'm an RN and NP mentor, interview strategist, and content creator. Welcome to the channel. I feel like there are creators out there, and maybe they're legitimate. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of clickbaity shock thing, but I feel like there are a ton of videos out there when you search NPs. It's like, why I hate being an NP, why I would not ever go to NP school, why I'm changing from NP school to something else. I feel like there's a lot of that there. And I want to sort of be the counter argument to that. I mean, I'm going to share with you the things I wasn't expecting to be frustrated by, but I'm going to also share with you a perspective of someone who is deliriously happy with the choices that I made and the career that I'm at and where I am in life right now and how it can be incredibly fulfilling. I just realized that I blend in with the wall. It's beige on beige. I would tell the me of 6 years ago that is seriously in a fog of indecision to get out of her own head. I would tell her to stop stressing about the extraneous factors, the things like, are you too old to go back to school? Will you find a job? Can you make money? Will your family survive this? Can you handle a schedule change? I would tell that girl to get out of that headspace because that's the stuff that will bog you down with making these difficult decisions. And I would tell that girl to spend more time on coming back to yourself and what are your motives and what will fulfill you with a career that you're going to have for another 20 years of your life. Because if you truly want to fill this kind of a role, if you want this kind of a relationship with patients, then that other stuff becomes minor. They are big deals. I'm not saying they're not big issues, but they become manageable somehow because you know that at the end of it, you will have a happy career. And in order to determine that, someone like me who had very little interaction with NPs and didn't really know what they could or could not do and was torn between FNP and acute care and the different specialties because I didn't know what the options were, I would tell that girl to go find some people to do that. Go out on social media, go to the forums, cold call people, network, find people who do different NP roles and learn what you can about them. Cold call them and ask them if you can shadow them. Do things to determine what it is you think you want to do and narrow it down to the top 2 or 3 choices. And then if that feels right, then go after it because the other things will work itself out. It may take time and it may be harder than you anticipate, but it will work itself out. I would also tell that girl that's in school to stop stressing about your kids. This was personally my biggest challenge while I was in school. My program was accelerated. It was 18 months long. I was in school 5 days a week, almost 8 hours a day. And when I wasn't in class, I was studying all the time. So it was very, very hard. And I was not very present in my kid's life. And as a mom, that mom guilt will just eat away at you so much. It'll derail you. It'll make you think you should just quit because your kids should matter more. I would tell that girl that logic is twisted. Yes, it's a challenging time of life, but the role model that you are providing to your children is that as a mom who's working, who's in school, who's filling a lot of different roles, you can do this. They watch you struggle. They know how hard it is for you. Even with the young ones, they see how bad it is. But what that shows them is that hardships happen in life. And when you are motivated, you can overcome them. So while you may miss some soccer games, you may miss some banquets, you may miss some things and activities and vacations, in the bigger scheme of things, you're going to teach them something incredibly more valuable than your presence during that time. So stop. I would also tell that girl that's in school that's super overwhelmed by all the stuff that needs to be accomplished to stop getting too far ahead of herself. Stop focusing on things that you can't control right now. And even if it boils down to just getting through that day, do that. Focus on what you have to do to get through this day. And don't think too far ahead, because when you start thinking too far ahead, you get really overwhelmed. I would tell that girl who's graduating and starting her first job that while you think this is going to be a hard trajectory, double that or triple that. It's going to be way harder than you think. In specific for me, I went to work for a group that I had not done clinicals with, so I was starting from fresh. And I was also comparing my capabilities to a bunch of people who were already proficient in the role. There was no one else new at the time. The last person who onboarded took like 2 weeks, so they kind of thought that would be me. And when I didn't hit that mark, I really doubted my skills. And even throughout the whole process, I mean, it takes a good 6 months before you're not scared. It takes a good year before you feel somewhat competent. It's a long course, and you just have to be patient with yourself and go about it the right way so you build a strong foundation. So stop worrying that you're not where you're supposed to be and just focus on getting through that week. What one topic do I need to learn well, and learn it well this week? I also would tell that girl, okay, when you go through the initial epic training, do not sleep when they're talking about the dot phrases section. You need to pay attention. And then you need to spend the first maybe 2 days before you start work building your library of dot phrases. Because had I done that, I could have saved myself 4 months of pain and suffering and staying late at work every day by like 2 or 3 hours. Because using the systems in place in your systems EMR will help you to get faster and will help you to retain information at a more efficient rate. I could have saved myself a lot of stress had I done that. By the way, shameless plug, if you need an H&P How To Dot Phrases book, I just so happen to have one. You can check the link below and go to my website to get that. I would tell the me of 2 or 3 years ago who was feeling competent in her role and pretty confident and was starting to take students that NP students come in all different levels of skills. They go to all different levels of schooling. And they're not all created the same. And they're certainly not all trained the way that you were trained. So don't expect that other people will be. But develop your own set of expectations and raise them up to that and challenge them to that. Because your answer to your growing frustrations with the lack of standardized training for your profession, your answer to that is to raise up the people that you have direct interactions with, and then through greater spread, through platforms like this, you can impact the lives of others. And along those lines, I would tell that girl of a few years ago that while you are happy and content with your career right now, you never know when, like, oh, I don't know, a worldwide pandemic will hit, which will shake that foundation of happiness and emotional stability within your career and may give rise to other opportunities like spreading messages on social media, like mentoring people through one-on-one consultations, like affecting people in a positive way that is different than direct patient care. And you can get just as much fulfillment sort of within your profession, but in a totally different way. I would also tell that girl that your first job does not have to be your last job, and that there are opportunities out there for change and continued growth. And I would tell all of you that I am much happier in my career now than I was as a bedside nurse, and that from the moment I sat down for my very first lecture, I realized that this is the type of interaction that I wanted with patients, to sit down and solve the medical mystery of what the diagnosis is, to help develop treatment plans, to help families make difficult decisions, to interact in a different way is very fulfilling to me. And I am very happy to be a nurse practitioner, even with all the badness out there that you hear.